everyone, and welcome to the web edition of Q's Countdown. I'm your host, Gabriella Rusk, alongside Matt Ryle and Chris Thompson. Syracuse lost to FSU last week, 45-21, making that the longest losing streak under Coach Schaefer at 5 games. Let's take a look now at the longest losing streaks in Syracuse football program history. It's not the worst one, this one right now. Orange football has had several losing seasons. Some of the more notable are 1948 and 1973. SU lost 8 games. Greg Robinson, the former big man in charge, holds the record for the worst record, 9-game losing streak during the 2005 season. SU's very first multiple game season was in 1890, and they finished with a winning record, 8-3. But guys, going back to Greg Robinson, he goes down as the head coach with the worst losing streak in program history. What happens to Schaefer if he loses against Louisville on Saturday?
I mean, I don't think they're going to can him right after that, but I think that if they lose to Louisville, you could see this streak reach that Greg Robinson mark at 9 games potentially, and if that happens, I think he has to go. There's just no excuse for that.
Well, if they lose this week, I think it'll at least get to 7 because I don't think they stand a chance against Clemson. But they could get NC State or they could get Boston College. So I don't think he'll get the record, unfortunately. But he could certainly get close, that's for sure.
Unfortunately, or fortunately for Scott Schaefer. Yeah, or fortunately. But guys, let's talk about this game for Louisville. Who's the X factor? Who are you guys looking at? Chris, we'll start with you.
Well, my X factor is Lamar Jackson's arms. The Louisville quarterback, he's a freshman. And honestly, with this Syracuse secondary, he's going to be passing all game long. I expect Louisville to develop a big lead in the first half based on that arm. Will it hold up in the second half is my question.
I'm going to go with SU's offensive line. Now, I've talked about this multiple times. Louisville is 15th in the nation in sacks. They get to the quarterback. And SU's offensive line is going to have to do a good job of protecting Dungy and giving him time and opening up lanes for either him to run or the running backs. And if they don't, I think this game's going to be over, first half, because this team is very stout on the defensive front.
Well, we're not going to do first half predictions, guys, but what are your predictions for the game?
I'm going to go with 27-24 Louisville. They're just a more dynamic team. Lamar Jackson's a dual-threat quarterback. He can beat you in multiple ways. And like I said, their defensive line is incredible. They have one guy, Trayvon Young. He's had 8 sacks in the last 3 games, so you have to be careful of him. I just think this team overall is better, and they win by a field goal.
Gabby, I think it is going to be a one-half game. I'm picking 45-17 Louisville. I think the secondary is just too weak. They'll falter. And Syracuse offensively, they're going to feel pressured to do something with the ball. They might force a play or two, and that might cause a turnover for the Louisville defense.
Well, we'll have to see what happens on Saturday. You can watch Orange Press Pass at 5:30 on OTN for your live post-game coverage. Here for Chris and Matt, I'm Gabriella. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and on Facebook at Citrus TV Sports. We're also on Instagram at Citrus TV Sports. That's all the time we've got. Enjoy the game.